What's going on, guys? It's your boy Hokage Puya here. I'm back with another video today, and we're going to be doing the European team of the season. I'm not taking into account the Club World Cup. Traditionally, if I'm making a team of the season after everything is said and done, I do it after the Champions League. So I'm not gonna do it based off the Club World Cup, whatever happens at the Club World Cup, because some of the players in contention for the team of the season here are not at the Club World Cup because FIFA's criteria to play at this new Club World Cup is all sorts of messed up. It's all sorts of messed up. So we're not going to take into account Club World Cup. We're going to take into account everything that happened, league, Champions League, everything. We're going to have the team of the season here for you guys. Unfortunately, call me recency bias or not, when a team wins a treble, they're going to dominate the lineup. So maybe that gives you a little sneak peek into what the team is going to look like. But let me just pull it up here on the screen, you guys. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be on that summer content grind. I took a couple days break. I'm going to have some videos dropping for you guys here. Subscribe for it if you want. And yeah, let's get into it. Pull up our favorite app, website, whatever, software. Lineup builder. So I'm going with 4-2-3-1, which is a pretty generic lineup, but I think it really does capture all the best players in their positions. It's going to be heavily dominated by one team and rightfully so. When you win a treble the way you do and win the Champions League final the way you do, you're going to dominate the team of the season throughout all of Europe. And I don't care. And to be honest, guys, maybe some players here will miss out on the lineup that you don't agree with. I don't care. This is who I genuinely believe were the best performing players this season. And from what I saw, what they achieved, how well they played, where they were, what they were doing in the biggest moments of the season, this is what the lineup is all about. So let's start with the goalie. And honestly, it may be cheap to go with the PSG goalie. It may be cheap and easy to go with Donnarumma. But if you think about it, who else really had an outstanding season as a goalie this year? I mean, I know, some lower league team tables like John Garcia at Espanyol, I believe, who just signed for Barcelona. He was excellent. Those kinds of guys, cool. But we're talking about the elite. We're talking about the best in the world. Those guys aren't at it. And I'm looking at the best goalies in the world. And this season, I'm sorry, you guys, Mr. Gianluigi Donnarumma, only 26 years old still, very young, is my goalie in the team this season. Excellent performance from him this year. I think the big thing with Donnarumma is he's never been trash, and I saw a lot of people counting him out on the internet after his various mistakes in high-profile Champions League games for PSG. But you have to remember, he was so young. He won those Euros with Italy as a starting goalie, being probably Italy's best player throughout the whole freaking tournament, along with like Chiellini and Bonucci. At what? 21 years old, 22 years old? You guys, goalies, the 21-year-old goalie starting for their nation is the same as a 15-year-old player, outfield player, midfielder starting for Spain, Argentina, Germany, France. It's the same level. So you forget sometimes he's so young, and he went pro at 16 with AC Milan. And yeah, people doubted him and everything for his high profile errors in Champions League games in the last couple of years. But the biggest sign of growth I saw from him was when I watched him in those big Champions League games against Aston Villa, against Liverpool, against Arsenal, coming up with big saves. And you saw a guy really show his growth, because in the Aston Villa game, remember, he came under a bit of pressure. He almost made a huge mistake in that game to allow Aston Villa back, but he stayed composed and he made a couple more extra incredible saves after the mistake he made, and he stayed composed. And Donnarumma, man, congratulations to him, great season. Weirdly, I'm hearing reports that he might be looking to leave PSG, which is weird. You just won the treble with these guys. You want to leave? I would advise against that, because PSG are looking extremely strong for next season. Right back. Now, again, you're looking at your right backs. There is really two for me that stood out this season. The two for me that stood out this season are Jules Koundé, and Hakimi. Now, I'm going Hakimi. Again, might be the cheap move. Oh, you're just going for the treble winning players. Oh, you're just going for the PSG players. Yeah, You win a treble, you're that guy. You just wrote yourself into the history books. And Hakimi, I think this season, a lot of people, again, I think in terms of PSG in general, a lot of people sleeping on them. They didn't start the season off well. They almost didn't even make the playoffs of the Champions League. But something clicked in this PSG team, and something clicked for Hakimi this season where he found a good blend of defense and attack. Now, that's a weird thing to say, given the fact that this season under Luis Enrique with PSG, Hakimi probably played more further forward than he ever has in his career. That's the crazy thing. But his defending got better this season. He wasn't exposed. He wasn't making high profile errors. He was solid. And since December, you guys, the last 7 months, I mean, 6, 7 months, Hakimi's been flawless. He's been flawless. Like on the other hand, you have Kunde, and the issue for Kunde is he was injured at points in the season. He wasn't necessarily. I think he only started 29 games in La Liga out of 38. So he wasn't as active as Hakimi. Like he still played many games, but Hakimi was out there every game, balling out. And I just think in terms of a pure footballer, technique and everything, Hakimi is superior. Now Jules Koundé, I think, is obviously the better defender, but Hakimi going forward this season, just magic. Pure magic. So Hakimi, I'm gonna put Hakimi in at right back for my European team this season. Now, who am I gonna go left center back? Let's start with the left center. Actually, let's just get the PSG guys out of the way. You guys, no question about it. Nuno Mendes, for me, best left back in the world. Now, this was very close. I think there was two guys here also competing for the best left back in the world shouts. Now, it could have potentially been three. It could have potentially been three. I think if Alejandro Balde stayed fit the whole season for Barcelona, he would have been in these conversations, no matter if Barcelona won the Champions League or not. But because of his injury issues, throughout most of the season, I was mainly looking at Alphonso Davies and Nuno Mendes as the best left backs in the world. But the reason why this decision becomes very clear is because Alphonso Davies tore his ACL before the key stages of the season for Bayern, so we didn't get to see Alphonso Davies for the rest of the season. We won't be able to see we won't be able to see Alphonso Davies back until November this year. He missed out on the big Champions League quarterfinal ties against Inter. He missed out on the end of the season for Bayern to secure the Bundesliga title. So, unfortunately for Alphonso Davies, that kind of rules him out. So you're really left with the most out of the most outstanding left backs in the world, Nuno Mendes. Now, DiMarco can also go in this conversation as well, but I genuinely believe DiMarco, the last couple months of the season, kind of fell flat. Even in those Bayern quarterfinal games and those Barcelona quarterfinal games, DiMarco really did not impress me. Like he wasn't one of the most impressive guys on the pitch for Inter on their way in the Champions League to the final. I don't think so. I would maybe put him seventh, eighth most impressive in that Inter team. So he started the season off very strongly, but kind of tapered out in terms of his form. Nuno Mendes, again, like Hakimi since December, absolutely phenomenal. And I think leaps and bounds improved on his defending. I mean, you could not get past this guy. It was like literally him and Alphonso Davies are very similar players. Now, I think technical ability, Nuno Mendes is actually better than Alphonso Davies, but both are high quality left backs. But because of Alphonso Davies' injury, Nuno Mendes just clearly got to show the whole world that he's the best right now. He's the best left back. And I just went and saw PSG Atletico Madrid Club World Cup game 2 days ago. He, for me, by far on the pitch, was the most impressive guy, along with like Desiree Doué. So Nuno Mendes, he's my left back of this season. So yeah, good for him. Still so young. I still remember. I don't know if any of you guys were on TikTok back then, but TikTok during the 2021 Euros, during all that COVID stuff, right? There was this Portuguese guy back in 2020 hyping the shit out of Nuno Mendes, and he became a meme. He became a meme because he would enunciate the Portuguese accent, the real Portuguese way of saying their names so much to where you think he was overdoing it. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but I remember in 2020 he's like, for me at Portugal at the Euros, left back Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes best left back. He'll be best left back Nuno Mendes. I don't know if I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the only guy, but Shout out to that guy who's hyping Nuno Mendes up 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So I bet he's really happy with this Nuno Mendes hype coming through this year. So Nuno Mendes, best left back in the world. Now, best, who am I having at left center back? Now, although they did not end up winning any trophies, in fact, Inter went from a potential treble to 0 trophies. He was damn good this season, man. He was damn good. And especially from the Bayern perspective, when I was watching Inter versus Bayern, genuinely the amount of last inch tackle defending Bastoni was doing against Barcelona, against Bayern in those key games was amazing. And, he necessarily wasn't at fault for Inter not winning any trophies. His other teammates let him down throughout the season because I think this year he was probably, I'm confident saying it's between him and Thuram, but him and Thuram are one of those two are Inter's player of the season for me. But I'd edge it towards Bastoni. He was excellent. Yeah, and the interesting thing about him, like, he's a center back, but he could weirdly play left wing back at a very high level. He could play left back at a very high level. So it just shows you his defending fundamentals are world class. And I think this season, although yes, Inter did not win any trophies, they went from a treble to zilch, which is wild, and losing the title out to Napoli, embarrassing. But with Premier League rejects, embarrassing. But putting that aside, I have to recognize the individual excellence Bastoni displayed this season. And the key is he displayed it consistently for me from the start of the season to the end of the season, 9 months, excellence. Now, I don't know if you could hear my dog in the background. I don't know why she's barking and bitching, but maybe I need to go enforce some discipline on that motherfucker. Psych, I love my dog. But Bastoni for me, yeah, I'm putting my left center back. And the key is I'm going to make another center back decision here that is probably going to shock some people, might be a little biased, but you have to take into account also the type of defending the defender has to do, how protected they are, what their job is on the field, how well they do at that job. And Bastoni, he had the great wall of elderly in front of him with Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan. Like, Inter's back line, people say Inter are a good defense. I honestly argue against that because of how many chances Bayern and Barcelona were able to make. But the reason why Bayern and Barcelona kept on running into a wall was because of a guy like Bastoni holding it down back there. So Bastoni, for me, he's in my team this season at left center back, right center back. Now there's 4 options here, in my opinion. There is Virgil van Dijk, there's Bastoni, there is Inigo Martinez, there is Pacho, Marquinhos, all those players. Now, Van Dijk, cool. He had a good season for Liverpool. Very good season. Another top world-class season. But I'm sorry, I wasn't impressed with Van Dijk's performances the last 4 months. Is it just me? I wasn't impressed with Van Dijk's performances throughout the whole season, especially the end of the season. I wasn't. I look at Inigo Martinez, I look at Pau Cubarsí. Yes, now you have to take into context how they had to defend. Hansi Flick's suicidal high line. Let's just keep it. Hansi Flick. That's why that's why I love that guy. That's why he's my managerial goat. His suicidal high line. Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí had to defend a very risky game all season long. They had to be very disciplined defenders, but I feel like they could have done better at times. I feel like they got sloppy at times. The high line, the offside trap, was getting caught out too many times, especially in that Inter tie. You're looking at Pacho and Marquinhos, the treble-winning center backs, right? But I think that defense, although those two defenders, Marquinhos and Pacho, defended very well, I really think Hakimi and Nuno Mendes, they really helped out defensively this season, which is why you saw PSG's defense as a whole play so strongly. Now, shout out to Marquinhos, a guy like Donnarumma who would make individual mistakes and screw PSG the last couple of years. He held it down. He was practically mistake-free on their way to the treble. Pacho, young center back from South America, highly talented, went from Eintracht Frankfurt to PSG, instant success, incredible recruitment from PSG. But out of all these center backs I watch, and you guys, I really am impressed with all these center backs. I think, given the job he had to do, similar to what Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí had to do for Barcelona all season. I think this guy at Bayern had to play the similar role. I think the second highest line in Europe was Bayern. If not, Bayern's high line is equal to Barcelona's in terms of how aggressive they were with it this season. And I saw a guy clowned on, Upa Maguire, Upa this, Upa that, Upa trash. I saw this season his stock go up so much because people finally realized this guy is no bozo. I think you look at the international level, the trend is clear. When Upamecano is not in that backline for France, they never keep clean sheets. Their defensive performance dips drastically. When he's in the French backline, things are all of a sudden more dominant, all of a sudden much nicer, much cleaner, less pressure. Because that is the quality of Upamecano. This year at Bayern, although he was injured the last 2 months of the season, which is very unfortunate, and maybe I'm contradicting myself here, I was more impressed with Upamecano, even though he missed the last 2 months of the season, than I was with all those other center backs. And this really is not a crazy shout. This is not a crazy shout. Anybody, don't take it at face value. Look at the performance. This season, Upamecano was before his injury, I would say he was the best center back in the world. I'm sorry. By March of this year, I genuinely believe Upamecano was the best center back. He reached a level of stability, no mistakes, confident, bringing so much physical dominance and aerial dominance to Bayern's backline, that high line that they were playing. And that's why I put him above a Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez, because he proved that he is a much stronger center back in the high line. He is so physically dominant. He's also so fast. He got so much smarter with his positional play, when to tackle, when to press, it looked like all the experience of the last couple of years for Upamecano blended in so well this season. I thought he was so strong. Upamecano. So for me, I'm having Upamecano in my team this season, my European team this season. Hey, me, doubt me, let me know in the comments if you disagree, but this is not a bad shout. This really is not a bad shout. I was genuinely the most impressed with Upamecano this season. And honestly, he's my center back of the season. I'm just going to keep it 100%. He is my center back of the season in Europe. I thought he was world class this season. Upamecano, I'm giving you that love, my bro. Two midfielders. Now, this is just easy for me. I mean, if you've been watching my channel throughout the season, Pedri, for me, he should be up there, top 3 in the Ballon d'Or. He is the engine for Barcelona. I was saying it all season long, and people doubted it. But when you saw Barcelona at times play without Pedri, the point just kept getting proven. Pedri, as good as that Barcelona team was, he was the engine. He was the creator. He was the conductor of this Barcelona team in midfield and attack. As good as Rafinha was, as good as Lamine Yamal was, as exciting as those two players were, and the moments they gave, who was the genius behind it all? It was Pedri. And for me, Pedri, I don't even have to speak too much about it. I think anyone who doesn't believe Pedri is the best midfielder in the world needs to go to an insane asylum. Now, the guy next to him, probably the second best midfielder in the world for me at this point. And I used to be a hater on him. But bro, he proved me wrong. Like last season, people were starting to put his name in there as the best midfielder in the world, one of the best midfielders in the world. I personally just couldn't go to that level because of those performances against PSG, against Dortmund, not being able to fully take control of that garbage Dortmund team against Emre Can across 2 legs. I just could not put him at that level of best midfielder in the world. Now, treble winning midfielder Vitinha, excellent. And imagine this midfield, bro. Imagine if Pedri and Vitinha play with each other. Oh my God. I mean, it's game over. Game over. You're not touching the ball. Bro. Vitinha, excellent season. He proved me wrong, and he is still super young. His future is bright. Now, I don't know if he'll stay at PSG forever, but because this is his first big move to a club, I don't think he's going to stay at PSG for multiple seasons now. I think 1 or 2 more seasons, and I think if Real Madrid come calling, Barcelona, Manchester City, Bayern, Liverpool, he might be down for that move. I'm not going to lie. So these are my two midfielders in the pivot, Pedri, Vitinha. And I honestly think it's not even close between anyone else. It's not even close. Like honorable mentions in midfield, Valverde maybe, definitely Kimmich, definitely João Neves, Ryan Gravenberch, those kinds of guys. Shout out to them. But for me, these were the top two cut above the rest in midfield this season for Europe. So Pedri and Vitinha. Now, right winger, three guys. There's three guys. No one else is in this conversation besides three guys. It is, excuse me, my throat got super dry. Mohamed Salah, Lamine Yamal, and Michael Olise. Now, if we're going with consistency throughout the whole season, 9 months, not all these players give you that. Now, let's look at their peak. Mohamed Salah from August to late November, December, mid-December, well, fantastic, bro. Like, the sheer amount of goals and assists, he just seemed to do everything for Liverpool. And I think the stat was by December, halfway through the season, 4 or 5 months of the season, he was involved in 74% of Liverpool's goals. That's wild. So Mohamed Salah, great. But what the fuck did Mohamed Salah do from January to June? Someone tell me what this guy did. I'm not saying he was garbage. He still popped up with decent numbers, but let's be honest. Where were you in the Champions League, bro? Against PSG, who was still warming up. Where were you? Non-existent. Now, they already basically had the Premier League title wrapped up by January, but still, you're a professional. You need to go out there and play the games and perform. His Premier League performance dipped big time. So you're looking at Salah, and I think a lot of people will say, oh, Salah's the clear guy. You have to look at everything. You have to look at the whole season. And sure, this guy was legendary the first half of the season. Where's the second half of the season performance, man? Where was the Champions League moments? Where was the big performances against PSG? When you were the clear favorites, Liverpool, they weren't there. Now you look at the Michael Olise. He starts the season off very strong for Bayern. And then he goes a little dip trying to get comfortable in this Bayern team. And then basically from December onward, the rest of the season, Michael Olise comfortable in this Bayern team and incredible. I mean, his debut season at Bayern, I think 32 goals and assists total. That's more than Robin and Ribéry ever got in a season. His performance, I mean, because with the Musiala getting injured for the key stages of the season, he had to really step up. And as a 21, 22-year-old, he stepped up for Bayern. And his general performance was great. He was one of the only creators that could do anything for Bayern against Inter. He created so many opportunities. He was excellent, and I think he deserved more. I don't even want to get into the Bayern Inter game, but I really think Michael Olise, if Bayern made a further run, semifinal, a final in the Champions League, he's up there for Ballon d'Or shouts. Let's be honest, he's up there for Ballon d'Or shouts. But the first half of the season performance wasn't necessarily to the level of the second half, and then you have Lamine Yamal. Started the season off very strongly. And then no one's really talking about it because I think a lot of people, including myself, believe he's the best player in the world right now. But he did have like a 3-month bad patch for Barcelona. Like for 3 months, he was not playing great. He was struggling. He seemed to be figured out. And in La Liga, he hit a little bit of a roadblock, but basically from February to May, Champions League and everything, the big moments, what he did against Inter, although they lost over 2 legs, amazing. So it's a tough decision at right wing. But if I'm being honest, he was so incredible. He was so incredible in the first half of the season. You can't deny him, bro. You can't deny him. He was so good. It has to be Mohamed Salah. He's the only reason Liverpool won the league this season. No Salah, no title. Take away all the goals and assists he had for Liverpool, fourth place, fifth place max for Liverpool. But instead, he ended up taking them to a very high points tally in the Premier League and getting them their second title in the last, 4 years or whatever it is, 5 years. So Mohamed Salah is going in my team this season at right wing. Shout out Lamine Yamal. To shout out to what's his face, Olise. Now on the left wing, again, just different level this year. Now, you might argue, oh, he wasn't as good. He's not that good technically. Oh, he just had an incredibly effective season. Nah, man. No. Like, excellent season from Rafinha. The sheer amount of goals and assists that this kid had. I say kid. He's like 27, 28, having his breakout season at Barcelona. He's in contention for the Ballon d'Or. I mean, what does he have? The second most goals and assists, or I think he tied Ronaldo for the most goals and assists in a Champions League campaign. Rafinha. So you have to look at that and just be like, shit, dude. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's elite. That's elite. So Rafinha, he's clearly the best. I mean, when you're thinking of the best left wingers in the world, I know people say Rafinha is better as like a second striker or whatever, but he played on the left for Barcelona all season. Who else even has a shout at the left wing? No one else. There's really no one that has a shout for the left wing for the team this season. So I think this is clearly Rafinha, and maybe I'm forgetting someone, but I swear off the top of my mind when I was thinking about this 11, no one else but Rafinha came to my mind. So Rafinha, going into my left wing. Let's go to striker. Now, I know he's not a traditional striker, but on the team sheet, his face was there at striker. Yes, he would play all over the field, more open role, but it's Ousmane Dembele. Now, even the high-level strikers, Harry Kane is not in here because personally, as a Bayern fan, he was too underwhelming for large parts of the season. Haaland, injured. Lewandowski, on and off, missing chances. Gyökeres, I don't even want to hear it. I think 50% of his goals came against the bottom four in Portugal. I don't want to hear it. Ousmane Dembele silenced a lot of doubters. This year. And for me, he should win the Ballon d'Or. I mean, he was the leader, the face of the treble-winning team. He's got 2 assists in the Champions League final. He scored in the semifinal, scored in the he showed up, bro. And he didn't just show up with goals and assists. He showed up with style. The Ousmane Dembele we all believed he would become 8-9 years ago when he was a young guy coming out of Ligue 1, getting his first season at Dortmund under Tommy Tuchel. This is the guy that we all thought he would become, and he it's like a boy became a man this season. And Ousmane Dembele, he became a man, bro. Like, even outside of the goals, the assists, the play, what he was actually doing on the pitch. If you'd seen the clips of this motherfucker pressing this season, I mean, this guy was on something else in the Champions League final. He looked like a caged animal. He looked like food was going to be withheld from him for a year if they did not win the Champions League final. So Ousmane Dembele, yes, he's not a traditional striker, but I think no striker this season deserves to go in the European team of the season. I'm going with Ousmane Dembele, who's technically was being placed at striker for PSG, but was kind of having more of a free role. We obviously know that, shifting from the left to the right side. I'm putting Ousmane Dembele as my number 10. Now, we have a bit of a predicament here. Who should be the 10? Now, maybe we could go Yamal. Olise, I'm looking at those two for the 10 position, in all honesty. I'm looking at those two in the 10 position because for the number 10s this year, I mean, who was outstanding? The only 2 outstanding 10s for me at the very elite level were Wirtz and Musiala. Now, I would probably put Musiala here, in all honesty, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much Musiala matured this year, how much he was carrying this Bayern attack, how influential he was. But injured for the last 3 months of the season, He just came back for the Club World Cup. I'm just not going to do it. So honestly, I'm thinking Verts, good, but he wasn't amazing this season. Like he was very, very good, but there are two players. Honestly, I think I kind of left the 10 position for me to figure out as I record the video, which might have been stupid of me, but it is what it is. Honestly, screw it, bro. I'm gonna go the decision between Olise and Yamal, and because I think he's the best player in the world right now, I'm gonna put Lamine Yamal in the number 10 position. That would be how I line up and make my European team this season. Now, oh, he's not a number 10. He's a winger, loser, casual. You're stupid. Blah 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 blah. If you're telling me you don't think Lamine Yamal can play as a number 10, just the thought of that made me yawn. Just the thought of your retardation made me yawn right now. Lamine Yamal can definitely play a 10. You guys, this team would be unbeatable. I'm not gonna lie. What a team! Oops. Dembele, Lamine, Rafinha, Pedri, Vitinha, Bastoni, Upa, Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, Donnarumma. That's a nice team, bro. That's a nice team. At center back, Van Dijk snubbed, Inigo Martinez, Pacho Marquinhos, Paco Barce, all those guys snubbed. I get it. But I made my decision. It is what it is. And yeah, my European team of the season. Let me know if you agree in the comments. Did I get it wrong? Did I get it right? Put your team this season in the comments. Why not? I'll react to them. I'll respond to them. Let's see. Let's have that discourse, guys, in the comments. But it's been your boy Hokage Puya. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.